Hey y'all, Cockers here, back with another video. If you like the content, definitely hit the subscribe, that'd help a lot. But this one is going to be how to plan. So in general, somebody with a plan is going to be better off than not having a plan. And so I'm going to break this into kind of like different segments and explain like gathering gear and then figuring out what you got to do and then planning for what you have to do. So what we're going to do specifically is I'm going to do an example on my next mission for Shoreline. And so I'm going to have to do the Punisher series where I got to get 15 scouts with an AKM weapon, and then I got to do scrap metal and Mark III tanks. So it's pretty simple one. Sometimes you'll have to do like 4 or 5 things, and it'd be very difficult without a plan. And in general, you don't want to be like stumbling around thinking, where am I going? Where are all these people at? You want to know that stuff because it'll really help you, whenever, worst comes to worst, a squad of 3 just pops out of nowhere and like, you gotta fight them off. Now you're all hurt. Maybe you were less prepared because you were thinking about, oh, where am I going to do this task, instead of knowing exactly where you're gonna go, and then you would know exactly where that 3 stack might show up from, right? And so then whenever they do show up, now you're better off to defeat the 3 stack, right? Yeah, I guess I'll just get right into it. Okay, so one of the first things you want to do is, it's very simple, especially if you're a beginner. If you've been playing a while, you probably already know this, but all your tasks are going to have like very distinct names, like the Punisher or scrap metal, right? And so, and like it'll tell you basic stuff, but I won't necessarily tell you exactly where it is. So what you're going to do is you're just going to like go into your preferred web browser, you're just going to type in EFT scrap metal, and then you're going to watch one of the mini beginner guides. I've made a few with a bunch of great content creators. They kind of streamline everything. You can usually like fast forward it, and they'll put like a map where the stuff is and stuff like that. And be sure to hit them with a like, comment, and subscribe if you know what I'm saying, But so that's what you're gonna do, just to like figure out where everything is. And if you're really new, you're gonna want to like at some point just join like a PV offline raid, and then go and do that task, just so you're not like fumbling to like put your pants on while you're like in raid with people trying to kill you and shit, right? And then so the next segment will be right, and so the next segment is going to be your gear, right? And so in general, you can kind of streamline this stuff, but it will help you a lot if you take the time to actually write down what all of your gear is. Like I made like a little list. Let's see. If you write out like a list of all the shit that you're gonna have, right? Then you'll be able to like check this side by side with your gear. Like say you have like another monitor or whatever, and then actually go through your checklist and know if you have all your stuff or not, right? Because if you get into raid and you don't have your fucking water and food and shit, and it's gonna be a fucking long one, then you're in trouble, right? So you need to make sure you have that shit. And at some point, one of the other ways to do it is just to make a fucking checklist and fucking look at that shit. If you really want to have all your shit, make a checklist, right? And then you'll get to a point where like you'll just do all this stuff automatically and you'll rarely miss stuff, but then you'll start messing up, right? So like, like in real life, you'd fucking want a checklist, like say you were gonna go on a 3-day hike and you didn't have your food, you fucking die at some point, right? You're like bumming food off your buddy, or the fucker that forgot his food, right? Don't be the fucker that forgets your food, right? Acquisition your shit, right? Okay, and so one of the first things here is going to be ideal weapon and ammunition system with a sufficient amount of magazines. Actually, I need to add something to this. Ideal weapon and ammunition system according to your environment, because all gunfighting takes place within a specific environment. So like say you're going to factory, then you need like a close quarters combat weapon, right? But say you're like going on woods or shoreline, there's going to be distances, then you probably need like a scope, like holographic or red dot sight combination, so you can fight up close and at range effectively, right? And then you're going to want to bring, like you're going to have like at least 3 to 4 mags with decent ammo, and then just bring like 4 to 6 extra mags with like the best trash ammo you could buy, because they're cheap as fuck and you want lots of ammo, right? And then say like level 4 body armor, I say level 4 or better because it's just the shit. Level 3 or better helmet. Contacts, you gotta have headset, meds. Here's like the list of all the meds that you're gonna need. Food, water, task equipment, all your markers, items, stash. Health and nutrition, you need to actually look and see how much health you have. Like, let's go to the game. So like I could be low on health, or I could like be low on food or nutrition, and if I go into raid not planning with that, I only brought enough water thinking I was at 100, then now I'm out of food and water. So now I gotta go find that shit, and that's gonna be a problem. That's in the way of our mission, right? Okay, and then there's only one left. This one's kind of dragging. Oh, and weapon durability. Make sure you're checking your weapon durability, because if it gets low on you, it'll start getting inaccurate and it's gonna jam on you, and gun jams can get you killed, right? So always check that shit. So that's just the gear, right? So we've looked up where it is, we've gotten our gear. Now it's time to like actually plan out all of our pathing. Also, so I almost forgot, but you will need a bag. I mean, so a sling only costs 2k, gives you 6 slots. You can make like, I don't know, 50k plus on it with it. A bag costs 20k, I'll give you like 20 or 25 slots, and you can make, I don't know, like 300k off of a 20k investment. So it's just usually a good idea to bring bags, unless it's just a suicide mission, and even then it's 2k for a sling, right? So like, why not? And then grenades, especially depending on where you're going. If you're going to dorms, you want 3 to 8 grenades, like minimum, because you want to be throwing grenades down the hallway so you can like move around and stuff. Otherwise you're way worse off. And you'd be amazed how much just chucking like 4 or 5 grenades can make people want to kill you substantially less. You know what I'm saying? So bring grenades. That's a great idea. Alright, so here's my kind of sloppy, silly little map I put together, but it's functional enough to demonstrate what I'm trying to portray here. Anyways, okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to know all the spawn points. See, if you could plan, you would just show up in one little area and you know exactly where you're gonna go, right? Instead, you're more like a paratrooper. You're just like parachute down this place, you're just gonna land somewhere on the map, right? Like more or less, right? So you have to plan your shit accordingly, right? You could land, you could spawn, and so like the blue dots are where you could spawn. These are like most of them anyways, whatever, right? So just like theoretically I could spawn to the northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast, right? And so then I have to plan for each one, right? And then so the red are the tanks that I have to mark. That's the scrap metal quest. And then the yellow is where the scavs are going to spawn. And I have to do both of these quests, right? And then I want to think about the amount of danger each area has. Like, resort is going to be extremely dangerous, right? Estates probably be a couple people. There's always stuff going down at the pier. Probably run into someone around the power plant and like the gas station area. Weather station, if you rush it, you'll usually like run into somebody. There's going to be people going north towards the resort, so you'll just run into people all the time. Like, say I spawn northeast. Well, here we'll just start our path right now. So say I spawn northeast. Oh, this isn't what I want to do. Don't do that. No. Okay, cool. We're not falling apart here, right? So spawn. So 1, right? So I could either go straight for this tank, which would be high risk, but maybe I could ninja it first. So then say maybe that's my second place, right? Right, so now whenever I leave this place, say I wanted to go straight here, well, so there's this big open field right here, right? So it's super dangerous, and there's going to be all these people down here moving north, right? So I got to worry about that. So say maybe I move up here, I like camp in a bush or something that's still dangerous as shit. I'm not sure about this plan, right? So say maybe I just scratch all of that, right? We're just like brainstorming, right? So maybe I spawn here, and instead I go straight for this one instead, right? And then I'll probably run into people, but maybe I fight them. Say I could even camp, right? So you could like time manipulation. You can just sit in a bush for 15 minutes and let everybody run north to the resort, and then whenever they're like, you know, killing each other over here, you're like, whoa, I'm gonna run down here, right, and get this tank. and then I'm gonna, so I gotta cross, so I either cross the power plant or the gas station. So I'm either gonna go through the power plant or around through the gas station. So I'll say I go through the gas station because it's safer, and then I'll hit this one, right? So I should number these. So this would be 2, this will be 3, and then, so what I'll have to worry about is all the people leaving resort going to this extract here, right? But say I go like hard north and then I cut east, maybe I avoid them, right? And so then that'll be 4. And then, so I spawned here, so then I'll have to double back to this extract, and that'll be 5, right? So that's only one of my spawns, for example. So that's like if I spawn here, that's what I can do, right? And I have all these options. But say I spawn here, now I have to figure out this pathing, right? So say I spawn here, this one's the closest, so maybe I rush it, but I'll have to deal with people spawning nearby and running northward, so maybe I have to fight them and see them, right? But we'll just say like, this is first spot, second spot, then we go around, third spot, basically mirrored, right? So that's simple enough. So then we pretty much have our plan for the east side. Now west side, say, so there's usually going to be issues here. I'll probably run into a player, but I can basically just rush these safely if I spawn on the west side, right? And then maybe I camp in a bush for 10 minutes, I let everybody hit the resort, and then I go hard north, hard east, and then I get this tank, which will be pretty dangerous. So I have to think about my danger level. This is rather dangerous. But say I get that done, then I can either go around on the left side of this divide or go all the way around on the right side. This would probably be faster, maybe safer, maybe not, I don't know. Right? And then cross through the power plant or the gas station, get this one, and then extract a road to customs, right? So this is like a total mess. I'd want to like clean it up. And honestly, you could do it without like all the scav spawns and like the PMC spawns, and then you have more colors. That's usually what I do, is like one path will be this color, the other path will be that color, right? So you can actually tell. Because like if I were to open this map up whenever I was in raid and like actually try to read this shit, I'd be like, what the fuck am I looking at, right? Because the pathing's all one color. But this is just like a really, this is just like a really good example of how you would plan out your raid and path. And then, oh right, so I didn't even mention the scavs, right? And so the yellow is where all the scavs spawn, and so I probably won't get 15 in one raid, but I will chip away at them, right? So say I run up here to collect this, well, there's usually a couple of scavs at the power plant, specifically like sniper scavs on top of this building here, so I can bop them, right? And then maybe a path down here, there's usually some scavs around the gas station and the pier, but there might be players there, so there's danger level. So if I'm just trying to avoid PMCs and get my scav kills, maybe I won't go for pier, but maybe I'll go down here and I'll get the power plant guys, get the gas station guy if I can, and then like maybe I just clear through PowerPoint. Although since I started shooting, I might get danger, all this stuff, right? And I won't go into too much more detail just because it's like a lot of information. I'm not sure if I'm even like maintaining viewership here, but I'm sure if you're still listening, you're like, please give me up. You're like, this guy knows what he's talking about. No, I'm playing. Let's see, anything else? Final mentions. I wrote down a bunch of shit. Right, so like another thing, big thing you'll want to notice, which I already kind of mentioned, but like, so like right here will be this big open field, right? And then like all along like this little area, there's a lot of trees, which doesn't necessarily show on the map, but you'll want a map that shows that, because you'll want to know where the tree lines are and run along those rather than the big open fields, because the big open fields are death. You never run across this fucking field ever. Instead, like, go here to the wood line and like run up, or like whatever. Just don't run across the field. It's fucking dumb. You definitely don't want to run across the field. And let's see here. Yeah, I suppose that pretty much sums it up. Thanks for sticking through with the end, sticking through to the end with me. And yeah, if you enjoyed the content, definitely check out some of my other stuff. I appreciate that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one.